Hey guys, this is Lewis with Fast Cars and Furious Reviews. This is something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I started collecting the Fast and the Furious diecast cars a few years ago when I worked at a store part-time. Saw these cars on the shelves and I thought those would just look awesome. I started watching the movies again and started buying the cars and just started really digging into them. How long were they in the movie for? You know, what happened to the cars? Who drove them? Most of them are named, so it gives me those hints. There are some cars that they don't give any information on. They just give you the make and the model, and you're looking at it and you're like, I don't even remember this. So I've already done all the deep diving for you. We'll go over some of those cars and a lot of the extras. As you can see, I got plenty behind me, and this just doesn't cover them all. But I hope you guys go on this ride with me as I do the deep dive into these cars. I'm gonna show off my collection. I'm gonna share a lot of cool facts that I found about these cars, real life, as well as what they did with them in the movie. And I hope you guys enjoy. And as they do in the movie, let's do this as a family. When you think of Fast and the Furious, you probably picture Dom's Charger, Brian's Supra. But before any of those legends hit the screen, there was one car that introduced us to the entire franchise. Yes, it starts with the Civics, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Brian O'Connor's lime green Mitsubishi Eclipse. It's loud, it's neon, it's way over the top, and it's only in the movie for just a few minutes. But somehow it became one of the most iconic tuner cars of the early 2000s. Today we're going to be breaking down how long Eclipse was actually in the movie, the real specs behind the car, as well as the movie myths that fans still argue about. So, let's dive in. Well, believe it or not, Brian's Eclipse appears for roughly 8 to 10 minutes of total screen time. That's it. That is a fair amount of time for a movie that runs for over an hour and a half. But those minutes are packaged with some of the most memorable moments in the entire film. We see it when Brian first enters the street racing world. We see it during the legendary race against Dom. We see it in the garage montage where the team tries to fix Brian's junk a heap. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, hint, Supra. And finally, we see it go out in a blaze of glory during the ambush scene, which is right after the first race. The Eclipse's purpose is simple. It's the car that introduces Brian, it shows he's an outsider, and forces him deeper into Dom's crew after it gets destroyed. You know, short screen time, massive impact. Now, as far as what the car really was, that's where things get interesting. The movie wants you to believe that Brian is driving a high-powered, turbocharged, all-wheel drive monster, but the real car used during filming was a 1995 Mitsubishi Eclipse GS. Not the GST, not the GSX, which a lot of people argue about, just the GS. And the specs on there are it's a 2.0 liter 420A inline 4-cylinder engine. It's front-wheel drive, only has about 140 horsepower. 5-speed manual, goes 0 to 60 in roughly 8.5 seconds. So in other words, this thing was not keeping up with Dom's RX-7, Letty's 240SX, or basically anyone else that was at that race. But Hollywood Magic doesn't really care about the horsepower. It's give you excitement and enjoy what you're watching. As far as movie myths and reality goes, the thing the film showed that absolutely do not line up with reality is, one, the Eclipse is a turbo all-wheel drive beast. Reality is a front-wheel drive economy coupe. I mean, this car is your A to B. It ain't getting you anywhere fast. It's just getting you from your house to work, or your house to the train station, or if you need to go to the airport, it'll get you there. Myth number 2, danger to the manifold. This warning does not actually exist. No car has ever displayed this message, and the floorboard falling out is impossible. But again, it's one of those iconic scenes. You picture it, you know, it opens up. You have the sparks flying. Brian's trying to figure out what he needs to do, and it goes off flying behind him. Movie magic also makes it more enjoyable. Myth number 3, which they continue this throughout almost every single one of these movies, and that's the nitrous turns the car into a rocket. Yes, nitrous adds power, but it doesn't take you into a warp drive like they show in the movies. And if you go back and watch some of them, you'll see it. They hit the NOS, they lean back, they're flying, you have just the space, everything is around it going still, all the lights around it are going flat. This isn't Star Trek, but there's some really good movies. Myth number 4 is the Eclipse keeps up with heavily modified racers. Yes, you could probably modify this thing and give it some extra power, but not what it was racing. But a real world GS would have been left behind before it even really got out of the first gear. But here's the thing, these inaccuracies didn't hurt the movie. If anything, they actually really helped the franchise. They made it better, they made it more enjoyable, and they really, drew you in with that. It was never really about realism, as we can tell as we get later into franchises, which they eventually addressed in Fast 9, which I thought was great. It was about the spectacle. It's about enjoying the movie and making it something for fans to carry on, and we are. Next is we're going to talk about why it became iconic. I mean, yeah, the performance was a little exaggerated, but the Eclipse was unforgettable. I've got to find this guy, but I found someone driving identical around my local town here. I'd love to find him and talk to him about the car, see what he's done to his to make it match what we saw in the movie. But the bright lime green paint, the blue vinyl graphics, the APR wing, the body kit, the neon underglow, the oversized nitrous bottles, which they actually do show. I'll try to get you a little bit closer inside the car itself. The fake performance gauges, sorry, can't show you. No, this car isn't open. I do like my collection sealed. Eventually, maybe one day we'll get to that. But the car wasn't made to win races. It was built to steal the show. Really started the show. And that's what it did. The Eclipse became a poster car for the early 2000s tuner culture. People built replicas, one in my town. Kids put it on their bedroom walls. It became the face of the franchise's neon nitrous era. And to kind of close some of the things out, the cultural impact of these cars is, the wild part is that the Eclipse is destroyed before the movie even hits the halfway point. It leads us to another car that we all love too. But yet, it remains one of the most recognizable cars in the entire series. It introduced Brian as the import guy, it set the tone for the franchise's style, and it helped launch a global obsession with tuner culture. I've got the tuner car, it's great, more stuff to do to it. But even today, more than 20 years later, fans still talk about it. And to end this video up, even though Brian's Eclipse had a short life on screen, it left a massive mark on car culture and on the Fast and Furious universe. It started it off. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives into iconic movie cars, hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know which car you want to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.